let's look at some of the things that Snowflake released in June. And there's a long list. We had a Pro Talk event last month, right after the Snowflake Summit, and that had a lot of announcements. And we talked about them in our Pro Talk, and it's available online. But here is what actually been released, and you will not find here, for instance, document AI that was talked in a summit. And but these are the things that are available right now. So let's look at them. So I will not, I will probably not gonna go into each of them, but some of the ones that caught my eye, I think it's is interesting to look at, and it's number one on the list is dynamic tables. That is quite exciting from data engineering actually perspective. It's combined with the streaming, for instance, streaming streaming Snowpipe. I still get a mouthful on that. And if you combine with Snowpipe streaming and dynamic tables, you could get away from scheduling tasks, because dynamic tables is something that was released before as materialized tables, but now they rebranded to dynamic tables that allows you to express your end transformations in SQL, and it's very easy to do that. So that's a very exciting one. Other things, like even a smaller thing I mentioned, for instance, the third one on the list is passing references to tables. I actually wasn't aware of this one, and I just had to educate myself a little bit on this. And it's quite interesting because, I'll give a quick example. If in the past, if you created a procedure and you were an owner of that procedure and the underlying table that, let's say, it updates, you will not be able to do an update if the permissions are not right, if you're under a different role or user. So with this passing reference, for instance, we can start configuring some reference passing and permissions into the procedure itself. So that's interesting to look in from, again, data engineering perspective. There is a lot of going on also on data science, Snowflake, ML powered functions. The ML powered functions, those are actually very exciting too. From a summit, we learned about them. They give you built-in Snowflake SQL-based function options to run some ML-based analysis on your time series data. So a couple examples they have are forecasting. So yeah, you can forecast now just by using SQL-based functions in your queries, which is quite powerful. And you don't need to know any data science, as long as you're familiar a little bit with how forecasting works. Also, they have anomaly cleansing functions as well, and there's some few others. So moving down the list, another big one is to mention is native application framework. So Snowflake is targeting this ecosystem of features quite extensively. So you have a Streamlit applications that are coming to be native in Snowflake. So native application framework will allow you to wrap everything in a nice package with the proper security, proper billing options, and so on, and in the Snowflake marketplace. So that's also quite huge, and I'm sure we're going to be doing some Pro Talk on that as well at some point. Looking down the list, other things like anonymous procedures, right? Who would think that you need that? It's essentially a procedure that you can create. Not create, you could have running ad hoc right there in front of you, but you don't actually create. So it's similar to CTE syntax when you write the queries, but now it's just that diff keyword, it becomes your procedure inside. Looking down the list, you have other things that's also data engineering targeting. Another quite, I would not say crazy, but it's quite innovative too, and quite makes a lot of flexibility. So it's the two items we see at the bottom towards here. It's a schema detection for JSON and CSV combined with table schema evolution. That is quite interesting. So that uses what's called, and I wrote down a little bit, they're using the infer schema functions that they use for Parquet ORC files, and I think there was another one, Avro, right? Avro files.
Yep.
And so now they expanded that to support for JSON and CSV files. So what it does is that it will infer the schema in your stage, your column name specifically. And that's pretty cool. So you don't, so they automatically will do that for you when you need to import the data. And table schema evolution rolls into that as well, kind of transparently, which allows them to, if the underlying file changes for some, if it's configured to infer, right? If it changes, we'll allow to drop some columns and add another one, new ones. That could be dangerous, yes, but you have to have certain responsibility along the lines and understand where this applies the best. But that's what table schema evolution is.
Yeah, this is actually a game changer for some of our clients. I mean, this is some pretty cool stuff actually right here. So
this opens up.
There's a page of cool stuff here, but these are kind of exciting. So
yeah, I agree. So moving along, we just want to spend a few more minutes, and then we'll jump into the main topic. Data science stuff. We touch a lot of ML tidbits, but also powerful things coming in. The smart Snowpark ML specifically. Some SQL updates, like a new SQL function. Not very exciting unless you work in geometry objects. Allows you to not automatically, but it allows you to translate from one spatial system to another one, the coordinates. We do have improvements in the performance. That's probably more impactful for some. It doesn't work in all the cases, but there is that tidbit for Snowflake going on. Specifically when limit and order by clauses are involved. There's incremental updates to Python framework. There's another one with the passing argument by name in UDFs and UDTFs and store procedures. That has actually caught my eye as well. It's just a little thing, tiny little thing, but it incrementally makes life easier in some cases. This is where you use equal and greater than or less than sign to point to which variable, which parameter we are assigning what value, and you can do that in different order in procedure or UDF. Looking at that
real quick, just the support for Python with Snowpark, that's huge. Getting these new versions out there, because we kind of glossed over that a little bit, but that's another game changer, right? That's a pretty important thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, in Snowpark ML itself brings a lot to the table for them, where there's a Python support for Sky, Skit, Learn frameworks and other frameworks that you are now going to have in Snowflake to run. So yes, and they needed to upgrade the Python to facilitate that. And I think that will itself warrants another pro talk, another at least an hour of talk.
Oh yeah, we got a whole list of pro talks ready.
Yeah. So sorry, I did a rookie mistake by moving a little bit around. Anyway, so moving down, we do have some organizational updates as well in here. I'm gonna gloss over a security update here. Basically just warehouse privilege flexibility is added. We do have one big thing on this list from not organization, but more interface updates is that we Snowsite for new accounts starting May 3rd, well, already started, will be is the only option. You don't have a classic console anymore, so that's something to note. So if you have an old account, you still in luck. You could switch back to classic console, and if you don't like the Snowsite, well, this Pro Talk will talk about Visual Studio code extension for Snowflake, and that might be alternative for you if you still hang over which choice to go. So
yeah, and you understand that on the UIs, right? I still work with a lot of clients. I get on a lot of calls, and I see a lot of people still in the classic UI. One of the things we highly encourage: please spend more time in Snowsite, get used to it, because it's where things are going, and a lot of this new stuff that's coming out, you you really have to be in Snowsight to be able to take advantage of it. And
That's
Snowsight,
right.
they've
That's
made
right.
huge improvements over the last year. So
Yeah.
if you haven't been in Snowsight for a little while, you're still using the classic console, jump over there, take a look at it. You're going to be glad that you did. So.
Yeah, no, good point. And I don't mean to say that VS Code is a better option at all. It's just an option. Snowsight, I was a little bit hesitant to switch, but because some things I liked, and they introduced that tabs and how the worksheets work. That was very helpful. Now I'm just, I don't go back to Classic Console anymore. There's no need, because yes, there's a Python worksheets, things like that. Native app integration, right? That's only going to be with the new Snowsight available to you, really. So yes, you're going to be handicapped if you're going to stick to Classic Console unless you do anything just in SQL.